So why do you think liberals have jumped on Walmart? Because of its success?
Because of its success, that's a sufficient reason. They really are for helping. They're for helping people who are disadvantaged, as they put it. Whereas I think conservatives want to stop people from being disadvantaged. In other words, the liberals want to help the poor while they're poor, but really the biggest benefit is to stop them from being poor. And that they have very little interest in.
What is the liberal premise?
I guess the Rousseau notion, that man is born free but is everywhere in chains, that the real problem with the world is that the institutions are wrong. If the institutions were right.
That is such a, man. And getting back to that first point too, liberals want to help people while they're poor. It is that that's profound, man. When you think about that, that's exactly what it is, right? It's if they were no longer poor, then they wouldn't have their power, right? Whereas conservatives or libertarians, ultimately are looking for freedom, right? The freedom to do whatever. Yeah, it's. Let me hear that one more time. That other.
Yes, the Rousseau notion, that man is born free but is everywhere in chains. That the real problem with the world is that the institutions are wrong.
Right, and that's what all Marxists, Leninists, Stalinists, pick your socialist communist ideology. Right, the reason that they never worked is because they're never run well enough, right? The person that was running the system didn't have good intention. and the notion is, the actual fact is that man is a flawed creature, right? Humans, we're flawed. And that's why you have to, the only person that you're really connected to help in a socialist communist kind of way is your friends and family, right? Those are the only people. If you have to create a system where you're helping somebody from across the country that you don't know, that you've never seen, that you will never see, that you will never meet in your entire life, that's the person that you're supposed to be connected to and try to help. That's why top-down centralized planning, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because that's not how human beings function, right? We're very social creatures. We like having other people around us, and we typically care, hopefully, more for the people that are in our inner circle than people we have never and will never see. That doesn't mean that we can't do charitable things for people that we have and will never see, but that means that our main focus isn't charity to those we don't know, nor should it be. That shouldn't be what our main focus is in life. My opinion. If yours is different, then that's fine. Maybe you don't have anybody in your life, and you're looking to just help people in civilization, society as a whole. That's fine. But on the whole, right, top-down centralized planning it fails, and doesn't fail because the people that are in charge, didn't do it correctly. It fails because the people that are in charge, are looking at their own self-interest and the self-interest of their families over others.
Is that the institutions are wrong. If the institutions were right, then there was nothing in human nature that would cause us to be unhappy. It's the fact that we have the wrong institution.
What is the conservative premise?
That man is flawed from day one, and that there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs, and whatever you do to deal with one of man's flaws, it creates another problem, but that you try to get the best trade-off you can get, and that's all you can hope for.
Right? That's the idea, right? The idea is that, once you start meddling, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be, even something as seen good as giving food stamps, right? If you're giving money to somebody to get food, where can that go wrong? Well, it can go wrong, right? And the way it can go wrong is that you create a dependency. You create a system where people now can't get off the food stamps, and they won't progress because they have no incentive to progress, because they've been given, their bare bones, and they're content. Now, maybe that's fine. Maybe you think that's fine. We can have that discussion. We can have that debate. I'm open to, okay, if they're okay with that, then that's fine. Excuse me. But when you create more people that now are subsisting on these programs, and they're not exceeding, or they're not reaching their potential because they've been given just enough.
You can hope for. I've often said there are three questions that I think would destroy most of the arguments on the left. And the first is, compared to what? The second is, at what cost? And the third is, what hard evidence do you have? Now, there are very few ideas on the left that can pass all three of those kinds of things.
Can conservative ideas pass those?
Yes, I think so, because they don't assume that there is a solution out there. Adam Smith didn't believe that either the government or the market could solve all problems, that you have to be able to simply tolerate certain things. And the idea to the left of tolerating any evil, that they want to stamp out the last vestige of segregation. Really? At what price? At what price?
At what price? Right? So we can do some amazing things, right? But in the end, at what price? Right? Like, you're gonna start putting people in jail for their ideas, for their thoughts, for their thinking. Yeah, man, he's a great man. He's a great man. We still have him. Hopefully, I don't know how much longer, because he's pretty high up there. But if you see my previous videos, you'll always get a Sowell video out of me. He's fantastic. So before we get into the end of it, please, guys, subscribe. We're doing good. Like, share, subscribe. And now, like, for the three, what evidence do you have? Compared to what the first one, that's a, it's a great notion, a great idea, a great question to pose, to fix something compared to what evidence do you have? And again, it's learning how to break these arguments down, learning how to break down these ideas, and to start formulating your own ideas and figuring these things out. That's what people like this help you to do, right? They help you to start grasping and start understanding, what's really going on. What am I thinking? Why am I thinking this? But yeah, everyone just listen to these guys. If you don't believe what they say, that's fine. But at the end of the day, their ideas are well thought out. These are not something that they just roll out of bed and they started thinking about. And all of us, we need to learn as much as we can, espouse the ideas that we believe to be true, have a conversation with somebody that will contest your ideas, argue the point back, try to prove your theory that you're thinking. Because at the end of the day, if you're wrong, you want to know that you're wrong. If the conclusion that you've come to is incorrect, and you can figure that out, that it's incorrect, you want to know that as quickly as you can, because you want to start living the right way. You want to start having your mind and your ideas be correct, or as correct as can be in some of these instances, because some of these things are opinion based. The majority of things are there is a truth and there is a falsehood, right? There is real and there is fake. And the sooner you get your mind around the person that you want to be, the ideas that you want to have, and the notions and the theories that you want to comprise your life around, and be the person that you want to be, the better off you're going to be, and the better off your family and friends will be, right? You're going to have a lot of arguments. You're going to have, as I do, a lot of discussions, a lot of thought process. But at the end of the day, if you are sitting there and you're thinking about these things, and they consume you, not to take away from your life, right? But they do need some thought. They need some reflection. You have to think about these things. I mean, some people don't. Some people don't, and they're happy, and that's fine. But if you want to understand why things are the way they are, and how to structure your life and your family's life the way you think it should be, societal questions are things that you kind of need to tackle as a father, as a husband, as a son, as just somebody in society. Yeah, guys, thanks a lot. Another great Sowell video. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We will see you again real soon. Thanks a lot.